Well, hello, happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us again once more time right here for your resource spotlight. This is the Spouseforce Live, bringing you resources, employment opportunities, employment partners, unique different segments for military spouses in our local community, virtual community. Feel empowered and grab what's applicable for you. Now, in this particular case, we're traveling all the way to Texas to talk to an amazing resource for veteran spouses. And so without further ado, let's go straight to Ashley. Ashley, welcome. Good afternoon to you. Happy lunchtime for you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So Ashley, tell us all about you and your military connection or anything you feel comfortable sharing that we can know a little bit more. And then, of course, right after, tell us all about the Veteran Spouse Network. What is it?
Great. Thank you. So my name's Ashley. I was a military spouse for a few years, and now we're post-transition as of last year. So it's been a whole year of me being a veteran spouse now. So I have a personal connection to the work that we do. That's why I'm so excited, especially to help with our transition side of things, since I recently went through the transition process with my spouse. The Veteran Spouse Network, just like it sounds, we primarily work with veteran spouses, but we now have opened a lot of our programs up to military spouses, so those of active duty service members or reserve members or guardmen as well. So a lot of our programs you can join even if you're a current military spouse, even though our name is Veteran Spouse Network.
Thank you. Now, I did want to reflect back on you, Ashley, because our programming here at Blue Star Careers, it's all once a spouse, always a spouse. So you're still a spouse, my friend. And that's a motto that I think a lot of organizations and companies are adapting because, as you can see, you're probably from your experience when you're transitioning, it takes a while to kind of adjust to your new hat or your new role that you're no longer a spouse, right? According to certain guidelines, certain processes. But when it comes to resources, once a spouse, always a spouse, I think, right?
Yes, we have the same motto. We wanted to make sure that no one felt like leaving military service meant you were just suddenly cut off from all your resources and community. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. So what is this Veteran Spouse Network, and what are some of those resources that you have available? Who can join? And then later on, you all, of course, will tell me more about how to join. But tell me first describe to us the Veteran Spouse Network.
Yes, of course. So our goal really is just to make sure that everyone has peer support and mental wellness and transition support as a military veteran spouse or partner. We know that there's a lot of resources, great resources for our service members and veterans. We want to make sure that we were also there to support the spouses as well. So we offer 3 main programs right now. Our virtual social clubs are really, like they sound, they're virtual one-time peer support opportunities. And so those change weekly. I won't go into that a whole lot because the eligibility is pretty much wide open and very easy to join. Our Veteran Family Transition Program, that's one that I primarily run. We help spouses and partners of active duty service members as they go through the transition process. We make sure that, we're connecting them to resources that they need, making sure that they have peer support during that process. So really just supporting them in the transition process. And then we have our veteran spouse resiliency groups, and those are peer support groups. So they are 12-week groups. They have a light curriculum that goes over like discussion points of what it means to be a veteran spouse, how did service affect your family, how to make goals now that you're out of the military and you can now establish your career maybe or stay in one spot longer. So that is our most popular program. And this summer, we're actually running a mini series with the most popular parts of that program that we will be doing shorter groups for.
That's fantastic. This is such a great resource. And, I did get to enjoy it, I believe towards the end of last summer or in the fall, one of your virtual groups or one of your virtual socials on a Friday, especially Fridays. Fridays for us, it's kind of like admin day or kind of like low tone, less meetings. And I had such a fantastic time discussing meeting a lot of great ladies that, who were navigating their transition and navigating their post-retirement and just looking for that connection, looking for that, sort of a hand to help you walk in and to not feel so isolated. So I applaud you for the great services that you facilitate and you provide for our community, because it is a great need out there even after retirement. People think that, oh, you're done, you're in your civilian community. It's like, no, that's when sometimes the fun really begins. Correct. So yeah. Now you described earlier when we started who can actually belong to the Veteran Spouse Network, but can you tell us, who's this resource intended for overall, and how can we join?
Of course, yes. So for all of our programs, if you're a veteran spouse or partner, and so you don't have to prove like marriage or anything like that, you are able to join all of our programs. There are some programs that are only for those in Texas. So our transition program is only for those in Texas, but the rest of the programs are nationwide. So you can join those virtually nationwide. And then most of our programs also allow military spouses, as long as you're in that transition period, because a lot of our programs are geared more towards post-service life, and we don't want you to join if you're like, 10 years into a 20-year career in the military life. So we don't want it to not be something that you can relate to. So we normally keep military spouses kind of in that year before transition you can join.
Great. Now, for the resources, the services that are targeted a little more for the folks over in Texas, what does that compose a little bit? What is that? What is the service like, or what can we expect if we move to Texas? Because Texas lately, it's a really popular state for those that are transitioning, and especially moving to a more affordable, I guess you can say, community. Texas seems to be right on the top checklist.
Yes. You can expect, we serve those who are planning to move to Texas, as well as those who live in Texas currently. So say you're a military spouse and you're in California, where maybe it's more expensive to live, and you want to move to Texas where it's less expensive, then, that year of prior to transition, when you're still trying to figure out where do you want to live, all of that, you can get connected to our transition program. We can help you kind of narrow down what might be the best location to move to, and get you connected to resources there, and get you connected to our region leader, who's going to serve as that peer who can kind of walk you through and talk to you through this transition process. And so if you are located in Texas, we already can serve you wherever you're at, or if you're moving to a different part, we can serve you there as well. And really, that's just, we call it peer navigation. So helping you navigate your community, helping you find others in your community that you can relate to. And also our region leaders are spouses themselves who can really relate to you, and you can ask any questions about where you're moving to and resources and things like that.
That's great. That is a great help, especially because you guys are the eyes of your local community, and having that, I guess you can say, that welcoming effect of us, relocating to a new community, and especially when you have had, you're trying to find your happily ever after home, and perhaps home has not been one particular location at all. And you guys being the eyes of the community, I think that this is incredible support. Now, I did post the link on the comments. So if you are looking for that, but this is also the link for the Virtual Social Clubs, where you can go to the website and find out more about the Veteran Spouse Network, and get connected with Ashley and the team and everybody else out there, so that you can get the resources that you need. Now, Ashley, what are some of those popular social clubs that you have going on? As I mentioned, I attended the Friday social club, I think, for military spouses once. What are some additional ones that you have, if you can share with me one of those other most popular ones?
Yes, of course. We have kind of our running series, our longest running social clubs that happen every week. One that you mentioned is our coffee chat. So everyone can join, and it's just very casual, and you can talk about whatever is on your mind during that day. We also have a Be Your Own Inspiration, and that is an evening Friday chat as well. And that one's very casual. It's, kind of like girls' night out, but virtually, so everyone can chat about what they're going to do over the weekend and kind of decompress from the week. We also have, sometimes we do like cooking classes and little things like that, book clubs. So there's always different things going on, but the two I mentioned on Fridays are normally our ones that happen every single week, no matter what. So.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, that's a great way for you to really get involved and build your network, because that's essential when you are transitioning out and you are relocating. And again, you're trying to find your new hat, your new place in the community. It's important for you to find that network of peers that, will be there to support you, but also just have fun as well. So what other initiatives, you mentioned something about the summer. What else do you have going on this initiative, and how can we help you as a community and amplify a little bit more support for military spouses?
Yes, thank you for mentioning. It's a Veteran Spouse Resiliency Groups, VSRGs for short, mini series. And so this summer we're trying something new just to get people in the door and kind of give them a taste for our Veteran Spouse Resiliency Groups, which are normally much longer. They're normally 12 weeks. We have very popular parts of that 12-week group that we kind of pulled out and made a smaller group for. So the mini series talks about a variety of topics, love and relationships, kind of how your relationship was maybe affected through service and now post-service, how that's going to affect your relationship. Taking care of ourselves, just talking about self-care, which is so important for veteran and military spouses, and just a variety of topics, sharing our stories. We go into more heavier topics, but also more lighter topics as well. So we just kind of threw in a mix of our most popular content on that mini series, and it happens each week going from next week to the end of July, I believe.
Perfect. And I did share the link for those of you who are watching and might be shy a little bit about posting questions, but post questions, post your comments, tell us where you're watching. I know I see some people watching on LinkedIn, so make sure that you post, as well as on Facebook, and we are also on YouTube. So make sure that you post your questions. Tell us where you're watching. We want to send you a shout out, but also give us a nice warm comment for Ashley so that she knows that you are here supporting this great resource for our community, for our veteran spouse community, which is widely needed. It's greatly needed. And so there's the link. Thank you, Richard, for sharing some of those links. Richard Moore, who is also watching, but it's a huge comment, so I'm not going to bring it out. But thank you, Richard, for sharing your comment and for sharing the opportunities over in Texas for military spouses as well. So Ashley, anything else that we can share with our community overall as we wrap up this segment? And thank you so much for taking the time to, again, educate us and tell us more about the Veteran Spouse Network.
Well, thank you again for having me. Really just to wrap up, if you guys want to learn more about any of our new programs, if we establish new programs moving forward, or just get updated on new events and social clubs, which change weekly, definitely feel free to follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn accounts. You can just search Veteran Spouse Network and it should pop up. You can see the logo on here as well with the little house, and that will show you that that's our account. You also could email me or even just visit our website, and you can always find my email there and links to how to sign up for each of our programs.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all of this great information. And of course, you can always join as well as find the links, because we post also Ashley sends us every week the updates of the new schedule for the socials and everything else that is coming up, the activities. And so we always post it also at our Spouseforce virtual community. So make sure that you are also capturing there all the details and you join. There's the link for you to join our Spouseforce virtual community. And I did wanted to acknowledge, there's Richard from Northern Virginia. So I do want to acknowledge the comments there, Richard. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Berenice, thank you, Berenice, all the way from Kentucky. Make sure that you join and attend the virtual clubs, support the Veteran Spouse Network. But most importantly, if you have, peers, spouses, anyone relocating over to Texas, there's a great support for you to access so that you are not, and to feel welcoming and to feel included in your local community, but most importantly, they're the eyes for your local community where you will be retiring. So thank you, Ashley. Anything else that we can share for our community as we close this?
I think that's it today, but thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And those of you who are watching, if you watch the replay, please post your comments. We'll come back and acknowledge those and send you more links. I did share all the links under our comments as well. So we thank you so much for watching and supporting this. And yeah, we'll be back the next segment. We bring you a unique career spotlight on the next one. So thank you so much for watching.